guys, welcome back to another video from Hoops Empire. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the legacy of LeBron James. Before we start, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and comment below your thoughts on LeBron's 4th title and 4th Finals MVP. So without further ado, let's get into it. After a dominant performance from LeBron James in his 10th NBA Finals appearance, averaging 29.8 points per game, 11.5 rebounds per game, and 8.5 assists per game on 59% shooting from the field, 42% shooting from 3, and a shocking 67% true shooting percentage, he won Finals MVP. And as great as Anthony Davis played, LeBron deserved it 100%. He displayed that he can still be the best player on the court in any series at any point in his career. Not to pull the year 17 card, but it is quite special to see this kind of dominance so late in his career. The only time we have ever seen dominance like this at this age was from, well, Michael Jordan. Now, the question we see in social media and on television is, does this championship run, including his 4th Finals MVP, make LeBron James the greatest player of all time? Before we get to my answer, we need to break down the legacy and career of LeBron James, starting from when he was a 16-year-old high school phenom with the weight of the world on his shoulders. Ever since LeBron James was a junior in high school, he has drawn Jordan comparisons. He has been deemed the heir apparent, the chosen one. Imagine the weight on your shoulders if you had the sports universe studying your every move at just 16 years old, telling you that you should be one of the best players that has ever played the game. And to say he didn't disappoint would be an understatement. He has exceeded expectations and become widely appreciated as a top 3 player the game has ever seen. LeBron has always dealt with expectations. When he was drafted to Cleveland with the first pick in 2003, he was expected to bring them their first title in decades, and while he didn't deliver, he did rack up the accolades, winning Rookie of the Year, a 2-time MVP, 6 All-Star appearances, 1 final appearance, 6 All-NBA teams, 4 of which being All-NBA first team, and 2 defensive teams in his 7-year stint with Cleveland to begin his career. But in the eyes of Cleveland fans, this all meant nothing without a ring. And when he left for Miami to be with Wade and Bosh, the world, not just Cleveland, was against him, painting him as the villain of the NBA. But can you blame him? Cleveland management tried to run his image dry, never even attempting to put talent around him. The best player LeBron ever played with in his first 7 years was Zydrunas Ilgauskas. He knew he would never win anything there if the management didn't care about winning and just cared about milking his image. On to Miami. This is where the real prime of LeBron James' career began, winning 2 championships with 2 Finals MVPs, 2 Most Valuable Player awards, 4-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA First Team, and 4-time All-NBA Defensive Team, with a 2nd place Defensive Player of the Year finish. The disappointing part is that although LeBron said this,
championships,
not 2.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
he finished 2-2 in the finals with Miami, one of the losses coming in the biggest superstar meltdown we have probably ever seen. A finals in which he was playing the heavy underdog Dirk-led Mavericks and lost in 6 games, averaging just 17 points with a much lower than usual 54% true shooting. LeBron was torn apart for this, as he deservedly should have been. You cannot be the proclaimed best player in the league and fold like that on the biggest stage. People were starting to question if LeBron really had the killer gene, if LeBron could ever be one of the true greats, and he was on a mission to prove people wrong. He then won back-to-back championships, back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back Finals MVPs, averaging 29, 8, and 7 over the next 2 postseasons. He was back in business as a projected top player ever. And then, he lost in 2014 to the same Spurs dynasty he lost to in 2007 and beat just the year before, putting his finals record at 2-3, only strengthening his haters' arguments that he would never be a top 5 player. Moving to 2015, when he decided he was going to go back home to Cleveland to win them a championship. The Golden State Warriors would have something to say about that. The 2015 finals were quite the show from LeBron, and although he had a career-low true shooting percentage, he averaged 36 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists, having to do everything by himself because Kyrie and Kevin Love had went down with injury. He still took that amazing team with MVP Steph Curry to 6 games, a series many thought would be over in 4 with the injuries, but nevertheless pushing his finals record to a depressing 2-4. Fast forward to 2016, and now we are getting into the greatest of all time conversation. Coming off LeBron's 4th NBA Finals loss, he found himself in a 3-1 deficit, on the verge of becoming 2-5 in the NBA Finals, putting him with the likes of Jerry West for worst finals records in NBA history. But what happened next can be summed up in one picture. He went on to average 36 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists on 60% true shooting over the next 3 games, and, of course, the famous block on Andre Iguodala, and became the first player to come back from a 3-1 NBA Finals deficit in NBA history, pushing his finals record to a much better 3-4. Still below 500, but getting there nonetheless. And what happened after that is something that LeBron couldn't have prevented, and there was really nothing he can do to even try to combat it.
The news again coming in moments ago, Kevin Durant heading to the Golden State Warriors.
Kevin Durant signing with a team that just went an NBA record 73-9, a team that LeBron just put up a legendary performance to take to 7 games in the NBA Finals, now had another top 3 player in the NBA. Because at the time, the top 3 was LeBron, Curry, and Durant. LeBron went on to lose the next 2 NBA Finals, as expected, as an extreme underdog in 5 and 4 games. His haters had all the fuel in the world at this point, and while he was pretty much consensus top 3, he didn't have much of an argument for greatest of all time with a 3-6 finals record. But something that LeBron haters don't like, one word that they can't seem to understand, one word that is very important in the basketball world, is context. LeBron James now, in 10 NBA Finals appearances, has only been favored in 3 out of the 10 finals he has been in, and has gone 2-1 in said finals. In 2007, he was alone in a series facing a prime dynasty Spurs. No one in the world had LeBron winning, being a massive underdog. 2011, like I said, was the biggest superstar disappointment we have ever seen. But in 2014, he was again an underdog, and had Wade and Bosh performing pretty terribly, both averaging under 15 points per game on 50 and 55% true shooting. As a matter of fact, as much slack as LeBron gets for ring chasing on super teams, the Heat's 2 other stars weren't all that impressive in LeBron's stint in Miami. Bosh averaging under 15 points per game in his entire time in Miami, and Wade hitting just 20 points per game, but not on very stellar shooting numbers. Move to 2015, and LeBron again has the odds stacked against him, by himself with the next best player being Delhi, against a homegrown dynasty in Golden State. And in 2017 and 2018, he was facing what was probably the greatest team of all time, facing some of the biggest odds the league has ever seen in a final series, and lost both, as most would have. A question I like to ask people is, if implanting Michael Jordan in LeBron's shoes, does the finals record change? Most of the time, people say no, or they say maybe Mike goes 5-5 winning in 2011, but does he win in 2016? As amazing and as clutch as Michael Jordan was, in reality, his finals competition was not as good as LeBron's. That is kind of a fact. And while Michael Jordan was the majority of the reason his teams were favored in all 6 finals he was in, he did have a great supporting cast, just like LeBron. And while people say LeBron has had the star hunt to win his championships, it's all a part of the era, the super team era. You need a super team with multiple all-NBA type players to win an NBA championship nowadays, because the league is so superstar driven, largely as it's always been, but that is amplified now. The main difference between LeBron James and Michael Jordan's playoff history is when they played their super teams. MJ played the Celtics super team in the first or second round early in his career and was dominated every time, losing even in his record 63-point game. LeBron played his super teams in the NBA Finals, and losing, as most would. It is just tough it had to come in the last round, making him look a lot worse than he is. So, getting back to the question, is LeBron James the greatest of all time? He's definitely making himself a case. 4 championships, 4 Finals MVPs, 4 MVPs, 16 All-NBA selections, 16 All-Star selections, 3rd all-time in points, being on track to be the first to ever hit 40,000 points, top 8 in assists all-time playoff points leader, 2nd in playoff assists, number 1 in playoff wins, the list goes on and on and on. He is also one of the most prolific finals performers the league has ever seen, despite his record, elevating his game to a new level on the biggest stage. But the answer, in my opinion, is no. It's going to take at least 1 to 2 more championships with finals MVPs, breaking the points record, being top 3 in assists, and more accolades to strengthen his argument. But as of right now, the greatest player of all time is Michael Jordan. He's undefeated in the finals, sweeping the finals MVPs. 11-time scoring champ, 5 times MVP, a dozen All-NBA and All-Defensive selections, a career average of over 30 points per game. Michael Jordan is the definition of greatness. You can make the argument LeBron is a better and more overall sound player than Jordan. But as subjective as greatness is, Michael Jordan embodies it. Thank you guys for sticking around this one. Let me know below who you think the greatest player of all time is, if you think this championship raised LeBron to the greatest player of all time status. Like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and have a good one.